for the sake of your jacket green.
Well, no hoarded wealth did my love own, the good sword that he bore, but I loved him for himself alone and the colours that he wore. For had he come in England's red to make me England's queen, I would rove the high green hills instead for the sake of the Irish green.
When William stormed with shot and shell at the walls of Garryowen, in the breach of death my Donald fell, and he sleeps near the treaty stone. That breach the foeman never crossed, while he swung his broadsword keen. But I do not weep, my darling lost, for he fell in his jacket green.
When Sarsfield sailed away I wept, as I heard the wild call. I fell then dead as a man who slept in the fields of Garryowen, while Ireland held my Donald West. No wild sea rolled between, till I would fold him to my breast, or rolled in his Irish green.
My soul has sobbed like the waves of woe that shattered Tombstone Brae, for I buried me heart in his grave below, for his and for Ireland's sake. And I cry, make way for the soldier's bride in your halls of death, sad queen, for I long to rest by my pool of sight and wrapped in the folds of green.
And I saw the Shannon's purple tide go by the Irish town, as I stood in the breach by young Donald's side, when England's flag went down. And now it lowers when I see the sky, a blood-red curse between. I weep, but it is not to woman's sighs, who raise her Irish green.
Oh, Ireland, says thy lonely soul, and land beats a winter sea. But sadder and higher the wild waves roll, o'er hearts that break for thee. Yet grief shall come to our heartless foes, and the crones in the dusty sea.
You're listening to the Rebel Rebel podcast with Rory Carson. Tá sé bhgéisteach leis an fód cruúlaí Rebel Rebel le Rory McCarson.
Well, folks, what's how you all doing? Welcome along to another Rebel Sunday on the Rebel Rebel podcast. Myself, Ro, folks, live from Derry this morning. We're here recording live, well, not recording, we're broadcasting live from the Derry City Sports and Social Club, folks. So welcome along. Thanks for tuning in. As usual, if you're watching the show on Facebook, please share the stream. Did you get the feedback, Razor? Can you hear it?
Not here, no.
There's an arrow, no? Maybe it's just coming out through my phone. So it is. Yeah, folks, so if you're watching on Facebook, please hit the share button, share it to any of your Celtic groups or Republican groups or whatever, Irish groups. Be much appreciated. Also, you're watching on YouTube today, you can basically copy and paste the link and put it onto any of your social media pages. Right, folks, on my left-hand side here, I'm joined by Ronan McDonald. Ronan, how you doing, mate?
A bit rough this morning, Rowan, but I'm alright.
Happy days. So obviously, folks, you'll all usually see Ronan commenting on the page most weeks when the show's on. I've been playing basically the songs from Notes from Derry from the very, very start. So I have on the show all 3 albums. So obviously Ronan and a few others were behind these albums. So there's Anthony, the main man, just in. Nick, come over and say hello. We'll get you in the camera. What? Are you feeling a bit rough this morning?
Face for video, that's what that is.
Face for video. So listen, we'll get a few shout-outs first before we get into it. So on Facebook we'll have Joseph McComay's watching, Elaine Heaney, how you doing, Elaine? Scottish Rambo Scullion, Gary Sharvin, Stephen O'Donnell is looking for George and Pop. That'll be played at some stage today, folks. Elaine O'Farrell, Kay Whelan's watching. There's the mother on, Catherine Carson, how you doing? She's missing her wee son this year. She haven't been down the studio in the last 2 weeks. Brian Friel as well is watching. How do you mate? Shout out to Brian Friel and his son Pierce on their way to the Hunger Strike March in Belfast today. Right, we'll get a few wee shout outs as well for on YouTube. Alex McCaffrey is watching. Seamus Bailiff, or is that Balf, looks like? Anything from One Shot Paddy. Joseph McGuire is watching. Hill. John Boy McElhenney. Good afternoon, looking very smart. You talking about Ronan or me? I'm definitely not feeling very smart this morning anyway. Marty is saying, yep, the spanner has been handed over to Elaine this morning. So, folks, any shit, Elaine will be getting the spanner and wrapping your knuckles, folks. So please go easy. So we're here at 2 o'clock today. So Ronan, we'll go forward. He has sort of picked a playlist today, folks, for the first hour. The second hour, we're going to have Barry Davey on, who's another fellow West Belfastian who has settled in Derry over the last few years here. So first things first, Ronan, obviously the Notes from Derry is produced like 3 albums. The first album obviously was called Notes from Derry, and then the other 2 were like Notes from Derry, the collection. So tell us a wee bit about how the whole concept for Notes from Derry started off.
Well, for the initial start of it, we had to go back to sort of about 2016 when we done the Raise the Songs and Story album for my dad. And we all had a great time doing that. We always talked about doing something again, but 2 or 3 years went by and sort of nothing was happening. And then it just one night it was actually in Vegas, and I just had the idea of it, and I was half cutting around Paddy Nixon around home from Vegas. It cost me £20 for the phone call. Jesus. But as all, I have the idea for the album we're going to do it. But the first one sort of Notes from Derry was more of like an acoustic collection, more so saving an Irish album. There was obviously lots of Irish songs on it, but we sort of done it for 2 different charities. So we had Irish stuff on there, we had local artists, acoustic acts, but the Irish songs are the songs that people resonate with most on any album that we ever do. So we just sort of took that from there. Then the second album, Stories of Land. We brought Notes from Derry out in February 2020. We had like one of the best launch nights, one of the best concerts for a long time, and then the world shut down 2 weeks later. So it just sort of completely. We had all these plans and ideas for it, and it just stopped. But one saving grace of that was that throughout lockdown we were able to make the second album, Stories of Land, and that but it meant we had everybody in the one place. Nobody was touring, nobody was playing, so we literally had to pick our best people, and that's what sort of happened. all
the people that are involved in it has been over the whole most of the 3 albums. It's been a core group of musicians and singers and stuff. So tell me about, are these all like you all just a group of friends who have been playing together for a lot of years and stuff, and just like a collection of like just local people, or what's crack?
It's sort of it would be that like for like when I was in Kelly's when we started back in 2011. Even at that point, me and Mickey were going out and listening to Dougie Brelson every Wednesday night. You know, we were going to see Sean and Kira, and like this is 10, 11 years ago. We're all obviously everybody's a lot younger back then, but we were just sort of building these connections with people and building conversations, and once Kelly's men started ticking off and doing well, we started running functions, and we would bring on the likes of Sean and Kira, or we brought on Tommy and Gerald from Oshin. They hadn't been doing the rebel stuff in years, so we asked them to come on. I actually seen a photo on Facebook of it. The RE Connor from the Crow Price Flip Band put it up. It was 10 years ago. We did a function. It was Kelly's men, Oshin and Cruncher, when the National March wasn't done given, and then the Plains Band played with the Spirit of Freedom Band. But that was the sort of stuff we were doing, and it just got us sort of to get to know people. And and then, as I say, over the older sort of people involved in the project, the older generation were all friends with my dad, and Paddy, who's produced all the albums, he played in my dad's band for 25, best part of 25, 30 years as a band, him and Monica, his wife. So it's just been a collective, and it's just sort of bolt done. But then as each album went on, we wanted to bring new people in and give people a chance for a professional recording. So, and that's just sort of the ethos.
So this guy, Paddy Nixon, obviously he's prominent on all the albums. So is it his house she's on the recording in? Can you see? I seen you putting the picture. You were sending me photographs of her, and like people just sitting in the kitchen. Stuff was set up, and the living room was set up, and people were playing drums and recording stuff, and that must have been manic, like in somebody's house to do all there.
In fairness, I think that's why everybody enjoyed it as much. As when you go into a recording studio, it's a scary thing. You know, when that light goes on, people get nervous, people panic. Paddy had an actual proper recording studio up the stairs, but people just got nervous because the pressure's on there and then. So we just found that it was just a lot more relaxed. People sitting, you can record anywhere now. If your equipment's good enough, you don't need the soundproof walls, you don't need all the massive stuff the studios used to have. So it just made people comfortable. Monica, fair play to her, for 3 years, 6 months of the year, 3 years in a row, there was 20 people running on that house every day, drum kits.
Crazy.
I remember at one point there was a wake down the street and we still had to practice. We had to practice for the Lotus and Derry launch night, and we knocked down. That's all gave me permission to play, but they said I worked away. So, but Paddy, especially Monica, she would cook for everybody, she would cater for everybody.
And do these people work as well? Like, I mean,
Monica, she works in canteens and in the stalls for all her life. Paddy's a full-time musician. You know, I said they playing bands all day, but he's also done masters and technologies and stuff. So he's involved in a whole pile of creative stuff as well. But they're all full-time people, full-time workers. That's the thing. Right.
So obviously, for the first hour, we've sort of asked Roland to give us a bit of a playlist to play. So obviously we'll talk about each song. We'll try and get through a few requests as well you're asking for, folks. Obviously we're starting a wee bit earlier today, but because today, folks, here from 3 o'clock onwards, the doors open for the big Rebel gig this afternoon, right through to 1 o'clock in the morning. So folks, there's still some tickets available if you want to come today. I think you can pay at the door. So it's on stage tonight. You're going to have Kelly's Men, full band, Glass Nevin, Ricky Nixon, who's joined Ricky?
Kev Quigley's playing with Ricky.
Who's it?
Kev Quigley.
Kev Quigley.
Kev Quigley.
Kev Quigley. Kev Quigley's going to be joining Ricky Nixon. We'll have Barry Davies playing as well, and then Pierce Whitehouse, who's coming from East Tyrone today to play as well. And then I'll be doing a few tunes in between each band. So it's going to be a long old day, folks. We say it's going to be a great Rebel Sundays. So it is, folks. So if you're up and around Derry today, come on up. Doors open 3 o'clock. The Sally match will be on. I'll have some tunes on the background, but I think everything officially starts around 4:30. The first singer on. So, right, the first song from your playlist, obviously, it's going to be very sort of Derry orientated, and there's a few songs from some of your own albums as well. And so the first one we're going to do is The Holy Ground from Panger Ban. So tell us a wee bit about this here song. I sort of asked you to pick a few songs that have sort of meant something to you, I mean, over the years, whatever, and why you sort of chose them. So what's the story behind this first one?
So like, every song selected today is wrote by a Derry artist, or not all signed by Derry people, we have a few, but every song that we play is wrote by a Derry artist. This one's wrote by Jerry Bresson, or Dougie Bresson, as most people sort of know him as. Pioneer Band, without doubt, are one of the biggest influences in Irish music in Derry in the past 40 years. The songs that they've wrote, like everybody knows George and Pop, everybody knows Roy and Danny, Death Before Revenge.
Yep.
But this song, Holy Ground, is I love the song from first ever heard it. It's just basically a song about I think it's about the 15th or 16th century. Jerry told me one time, he asked Jerry for a 1 sentence explanation. It's a 20-minute conversation with him about the song. But it's a really good song. It's a song that's not played enough. It's a difficult song to play, in fairness. But
yeah. See when you put that on, I thought it was actually a different song originally. I think there's a song that Christy Moore sings, The Holy Ground. It goes like,
that's smoking strong, but see, you're affected.
But that's when he sings. But that's what I thought the song was. Actually, that's what the song's called. So I just made a dick out of myself there. But no, that's the song I was thinking of. But see when it gets into it. I listened to this the other day and you sent me it through, and it's a bit slow starting off. But when all the instruments come in, it's a brilliant wee tune. So it is. So here we go. It's the first song of the day, folks. It's from Ronan's collection. And his playlist. This is Panger Band, folks, on Rebel Sundays with The Holy Ground.
Hazy dreams surround my mind while I'm asleep. They haunt me time and time again. Of one lonely man, he stands upon a hill. He's gazing down into the glen. His orders say he must retreat into the night. His men stand cold awaiting word. He turns to face them, hands outstretched toward the sky. And this is plainly what was heard. For holy ground takes pride of place, and keep this land we must. For his story shall prove us right. Yield sword and pledge God's trust. Pledge God's trust. It's getting late and the time is now at hand. The sun is rising in the hill. Smother the fire, saddle up, it's time to go. Today we gather at the mill, 'cause holy ground takes pride of place, and keep this land we must. For his story shall prove us right. Yield swords and pledge God's trust. Pledge God's trust. The sky was dark as we marched along the track. Jerry went down to look around. When he returned, there was a scar upon his face. He said we'd have to stand our ground, 'cause holy ground takes pride of place, and keep this land we must. For his story shall prove us right. Yield swords and pledge God's trust. Pledge God's trust. With the guns, the sight was never seen before. Upon their shields lay a priest's life and death. The pits of hell, the fiendish roar, 'cause holy ground takes pride of place, and keep this land we must. For his story shall prove us right. Yield swords and pledge God's trust. Pledge God's trust. Out. Still today it carries on. The fight for Ireland is a bloody sight to see. We'll break our backs to break this bond, 'cause holy ground takes pride of place, and keep this land we must. For his story shall prove us right. Yield swords and pledge God's trust. Pledge God's trust.
Yeah, that's the Holy Ground there, folks, from Panger Band. That's the first song choice from Ronan McDonald this afternoon, folks. So yeah, we're here live from the Derry City Sports and Social Club, folks, for a one-off sort of special Rebel Sunday session. Obviously, we're not in the studio today, so everything's the cameras aren't as sort of good as normal, and you'll normally see the screen I have around that. We're just busy going off a phone camera today, the old school, which we used to do in the old studio in the house before we got a few quid and started getting a wee bit technical. So please bear with us, folks. Hopefully the sound is getting through to us okay. We're going by public Wi-Fi as well today, so hopefully it doesn't sort of buffer or jump throughout the afternoon. Right, so I see Anthony's just comment there. Yeah, brilliant, Ro. What a tune. Fair play to them. Good luck today. Enjoying the show already. I think they must have it on the bar then, so they must have it in the screen. Michael Duncan, afternoon from North Ayrshire. There's the man, James Devin McClave, our favourite Brummie who's watching today. Majella Redden, good morning from Limerick. James McMullen is watching. There's Barry Davey, who's going to be in with us in the next hour as well, who's up early this morning, so he is. Right, we'll go back to YouTube here now and see who I have here watching, tuned in on YouTube. Let's see. Right. Lane saying, on your best behaviour, everyone. Dan Breen, watching today. Hail, hail, everyone. Barney Kildare. Oh, Lord, save us and bless us. It's the Derry ones. Derry ones. Right. Kingston Boy is watching today on YouTube. Maura Burns over on Coatbridge. Who else we have here? Let's see. It's very, very slow this here, folks. So Justin McQuillan's watching. How you doing, Justin? What's the crack? Derek Delaney is watching, tuning in today from Dublin. So he is. Afternoon, knowing the gang from sunny Dublin. For all these dirty dubs. I think that's YouTube caught up. So let's see. So we're going to talk about the next song here. So we are. The next one we're going to do. Hold on a second. Is we're going to do a song from Glass Nevin, who are actually going to be playing on the stage tonight. Obviously, Glass Nevin have been playing for many, many moons here in Derry. And true Glass Nevin fashion, I seen last night Kieran was posting that obviously they were playing Lizzie's O'Farrell's here in Derry on Friday, and they went home. Or went the Wolfstone Bar in Letterkenny and left half their leads here. So they did. It wouldn't be like Connor and Kieran to do something like there. And some boy had to lend them a few leads last night to do their gig to do their gig in the Wolfstone. So fair play to whoever there was. So the next one we're going to do is another song originally recorded from Panger Band, so it is. But this time we're going to do the Glass Nevin version. This is from it's called The Smuggler. It's another obviously Derry sort of song. I believe Barry is going to do this song as well, and we'll get him in later on. But he's picked the original Panger Band version, so he has. So that's been interesting. Two the same song, based on the show today. So this one here, The Smuggler. Ronan, tell us a wee bit about this song. Obviously, this album here. Now, this was Glass Nevin's first album, wasn't it?
That would have been from the first almost about 10 years.
We Only Want the Earth, and I think I had a wee shout out there to Chris Cruikshank, who obviously produced this whole album. He played the bass on it as well, played the whistles and whatever, and flute and stuff on it, whatever. Phenomenal job. He was playing with Gary Og last week at the Fela, so he was on stage, and as usual, Crookie was just amazing. So he was, his rendition of The Lonesome Boatman was fantastic. So tell us a bit about this here song here, The Smuggler, Ronan.
So this is another Pioneer band song. It's actually wrote by Harry Kane. He was actually the bass player in the band. So it was Harry. He wrote some great songs for Pioneer band as well. But I just always loved this song, and as I say, it's just one of them songs that when Conor and Kieran they were coming to Derry since 2010. So they have really, as we Kieran McGinley first brought them over, and they've just been they're basically a part of Derry fabric for a long time. So they are. So I just want to obviously play one of their songs because obviously they're playing the night, and I just want to keep the theme of the Derry songwriters. So this is just their version of Smuggler. It's a great version. As you say, the man that on the whistles, this is all brilliant in the song, so it is.
Yeah. So obviously, see the three albums. So these you've produced. So is this basically going to be like is it drawing a line now for the Notes from Derry? Is it with the sort of that in the two previous albums you've done? Is that sort of era of it finished, or?
It's sort of the three albums. We sort of set out an idea after we finished the first one. We sort of set an idea of doing two more. We wanted to really sort of introduce new songs to people while taking older songs and doing rearrangements. Yeah. We've done that in Stories of Land, and then the most recent album, Heritage, that was really, really folk. That was sort of, there was very little sort of any rebel stuff at all in that, and there was a sort of conscious decision. We wanted just to try different things for different reasons. And the albums came out, it's done well, everybody's enjoyed it, but obviously it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea because there's a lot of songs on there people have never heard. Even like there's 3 or 4 original songs on there, yes, but even a lot of covers we picked they're a bit obscure, but at the same time that was just something that we wanted to do. And but all the albums are on Spotify, so if you just search Notes from Derry on Spotify, put a bit collection up,
Yeah, it's great.
Everything we've recorded on there in the
whole
past few
thing's
years.
there, so it's in one playlist. It's brilliant. So, right, this is the next one, folks. If you have any requests today, get them in. I say we do have 2 playlists to do between Ronan and Barry, so we're going to try and stick to them. But we should be able to get a few more songs in between before we finish at 2 o'clock today, folks. And say normally we're on from 1 till 4, but obviously today, because everything's happening here in the club, it's a one-off sort of show, so we're only doing the 2-hour show. But I'm back in the studio next Sunday, folks, from 1 o'clock back to 4, everything back to normal. And say next week we're going to be giving away a ticket, a wristband for the Hills Donegal Satellite Supporters Festival. It's happening in September this year in Bundoran. And also next week we'll have 2 special guests on the show. We'll have the latest rebel band that hit the scene here, the Owl Brigade, which is Paddy Mangan and Fran O'Mara. Obviously Paddy's been on the show before, so he has. So he was obviously talking about what was going to happen over the next few years. So this is basically the latest instalment of Paddy's sort of years on the road. So it'll be great to have the 2 lads on the show next week. So here we go. This is the next song, folks, from Ronan's playlist. This is Glass Nevin with the Smuggler.
Tonight and they're coming ashore, but a kind of finest French brandy and the torches who light in the park on the shore. They began by the first light of time. Now the voice can be heard as the roaring is done. There's a breeze blowing in from the ocean, and the watch keeps its eyes on the wild coast road. On the exit spinning out in the wind. There's work to be done. The caliper is waiting to finish her run. There's no time to lose, for the tide's on the turn, and it got to be gone by the morning. Well, down through the dunes he comes riding his horse. The soldiers are spread on the headlands, and melting like shadows the smugglers are gone. Safe with their brandy in store. Then the morning tide washes the drops from the sound as the ex-men curses in anger, and he turns on his sword, gives a shout of command, and he leads his men back to the town. Every now and then there's work to be done, and the clipper is waiting to finish her run. There's no time to lose, for the tide's on the return, and it got to be gone by the morning. There's a full moon tonight and they're heading for France, with a cargo that shoots to bring plenty, and the clipper is flying full sail in the wind. They'll be saved by the first light of day. Every now and then there's work to be done, and the clipper is waiting to finish her run. There's no time to lose, for the tide's on the return, and it got to be gone by the morning. Every now and then there's work to be done, where the clipper's waiting to finish her run. There's no time to lose, for the tide's on the return, and it got to be gone by the morning.
There we go, folks. That is the sound of the Glass Nevin with the Smuggler, folks. And listen, we just had one of the regulars of the show, Joseph McGuire, has just come in. What song do you want to hear?
And we prayed, we go. And we prayed. And we prayed, we go to be and prayed. New Lord's Praise.
Oh, New Lord's Praise, yes. Well, I think we've a Fianna version. That's the one that Ronan recorded the one they. It's actually only the version I have that song. So it is the one you said it was come straight out of the desk and straight on sale.
Never even put out, so
So it wasn't. Yeah, so listen, one of our regular reviewers of the show, folks from Derry here, Joseph McGee, he's just landed in here. So he's in to watch the show here for us, and then we're going to be paint match the match. So, yeah, so what there was the Smuggler from Nevin, folks. So, anybody else? Michael Duncan says, yeah, what a tune, brilliant. We'll jump back on the YouTube and see L12 here. I say, this here, there's a bit of a delay on the screen here, folks, because obviously, when I'm normally doing the show, it's all, with the software I use, it's real sort of time. Well, this here is about 5 minutes behind what I'm watching on the screen here. Nice with us. So Maura Burns is looking for Provo's Lullaby. Studs Lanigan, early kick-off today, big row. The Celts are calling, definitely, yeah. But here, go be a hard match today against Hearts, so it is. But hopefully we'll do a job after our cream bun friends fucked up yesterday, so they did, against the Hibbies. Carl McCrory, row back home in Derry, please. Yes, well, none of the lads have picked that today, so surprisingly enough, but we'll definitely get it on. So Rowan, obviously, just talking about the albums you have done, must come at a big expense. Like, I mean, to get obviously recorded all nicely and then put out. Obviously, all of the CDs you have done. It isn't busy just like a wee sort of cheap CD wallet, like obviously the ones I've done. It's a real nice sort of job you've done it. So, like, what way does it, like, the usual finances yourselves? I mean, what way is that their work like?
So the Notes on Derry album was a charity project, so there was literally no money involved from anybody or any part in that one. Basically, because my mum passed away in February 2019, and I wanted to do something for the Foyle Hospice, which gave her sort of her treatment in her last days. Like, and Paddy's father passed away as well from dementia around the same time, and he wanted to do something for a charity called Deeds, and Deeds is a brilliant charity they're based up in Creighton. And what they do is they do work with dementia people, but they do like musical instruments and singing and all stuff that basically gets people involved, and just trying to keep people active as long as they can. So we got this everybody together. It was a charity project. We raised a couple of grand for two great charities. That was the project of that. But Stories of Land, actually, it was me. I sort of self-financed that one myself. Obviously, we were in lockdown, and I had money saved up to go on my holiday for Vegas, and
that didn't happen.
That wasn't happening. So I just sort of forced myself, instead of rather just spending the money on crap, I just put it towards the actual album, and that's how we got a bit more of a professional finish on the cover and the design, and then the second album in a way, so it did pay for itself. Thankfully, the third album, we actually had some funding from the Arts Council for that one, which was good. That meant I was able to get a lot of the musicians, because you're asking people to come on and play, and you can't really give them much because there's no money made in CDs anymore. Yeah. There's no money to be made at all in CDs.
Definitely.
So we were able to get like the likes of the people who are playing on every single track, to get them a few quid, and that was important. And if there was any sort of project ever come around again, I would like to do something where everybody, because the singers come on, they donate a half hour of their time, they're getting a fully professional recorded track. But I don't like going back to asking people every time to do
the same ones for free, more or less.
Basically, so. But the bars that really helped us out this time, in the DC Club, Alban up in Lizzie's, Pat O'Donnell's, and Sean McLaughlin up in George's, they came on as sponsors for the most recent album.
Brilliant.
Because, as I say, we didn't have no money or only put in, so they really stepped up and came on and helped us out. It's just unfortunate we couldn't do a launch night. We just couldn't get the availability from everybody. Trying to, as I say, different during COVID, everybody was...
I suppose with so many people involved, it isn't like it's only a couple of, like, 2 or 3 bands. It's a lot of people. They're trying to get them all, obviously, because they're all obviously still their own careers. They're singing bands, they're playing, doing gigs the weekend, stuff, whatever, and obviously the jobs. I suppose trying to get them all in one night together is a big commitment to do. Like,
when we done the night for Stories of Land, that was done for the Flamore for last that's about this time last year, in Studio 2, and that was a big night. But that was 11-piece band. How they played that night, and there was 14 singers, and it just happened. We're still basically on lockdown, just coming out of lockdown, so we still had that option to give people. This time round, it was a lot different. Obviously, we had a few of the singers on the albums don't really be involved in Irish music as such, but they're in Irish songs with their wedding bands, and they're doing weddings Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights. That's their jobs at the end of the day. Other people work night shifts, couldn't get stuff off. It was just one of them situations where if we would have ran the night, we would have ran it with half the actual cast of the album, which wouldn't have been fair on people, because you wouldn't have been getting the full idea of it. Like, so, but that's But as I say, the simple fact that the bars really came on and sort of financed.
As you said there about the CDs, but it is like a damn breed now. It's it's
completely
basically. I think I actually was listening to Radio Ulster the other morning for my sins, and they had Hugo Duncan on. Uncle Hugo, and he was actually talking about whatever it was and he was like even saying he still plays only CDs. He says like if somebody asks, you get all these bands and country singers, they send him like emails with songs. And all he says I can't play them. He said I actually haven't because he's somewhere in Strabane, some wee sort of local radio station he's doing the show from. He's like I haven't got the capability to play like an MP3, so couldn't tell you how to open. He's like that is just. You can put it on your phone and plug your phone into the desk, and that's how easy to play it. But they're these old school guys, or whatever. But I think what's great when I done my album, so the one for Suicide Awareness, I couldn't believe how popular the memory sticks were. Because see them out cars and all night. No car has a CD player in it. So it's basically it's all like just like a slot for a memory pen, whatever, or a USB stick, and there was. Probably more demand for them than there was for people wanting the CD. So it was, I think people obviously wanted a CD for the keepsake. I mean, of like with the album cover and all whatever and stuff. But yeah, I think it's even the amount of bands and singers you talk to now. It's even Stefan there. I don't think he's even going to release his new album on CD. He's put it on Spotify. So he hasn't.
Probably cost more. Like realistically, what we done on that most recent album, Heritage, I think that's probably the best cover we done, and that was done by Ursula Coy, that album designed for us. But it cost nearly £1,000 to get that printed like that.
Definitely,
you're not worried about that. You know, for a simple fact is that the bars, let's say like that in the DC here and all the rest of the people, they financed that distribution of that CD for us, which made it possible to have that nice finish that night. Yeah. So it was a nice way to end the project. But like I've made 3 albums, I don't own a CD player. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
It's sort of.
Ian, this is his first ever Celtic game today. And Paul Donaldson as well, from the O'Neill Allsop Memorial Flute Band from North Belfast is tuned in as well today, mate. He says, good luck to everybody in the O'Neill Allsop Memorial Flute Band today and all the other bands as well. I think I was talking to a couple of lads in Cope Bridge this morning, just when I was walking up here this morning there at the monument. They were on the bus to go to the parade. I think the Maxie's over as well today, a couple of other bands. So absolutely raging. They're not getting the hunger strike commemoration in Belfast today. Normally I would be there. This is the first year it's been on since COVID, but obviously this whole thing here has been planned. So it has, folks, before they officially announced the parade, and that's why I'm sort of here for this weekend, this gig today, and I'm sort of obviously can't get out of it now, but I say I would be there. So obviously I'm really annoyed at myself not being there, but listen, I'll be there in spirit with the guys anyway. So listen, we're going to do another song here. This next one, Ronan, is from a guy we've had on the show a couple of times, Declan McLaughlin. He's definitely a bit of a character, so he is. He played up there in Belfast a few weeks ago at the Empire alongside Damien Dempsey. So he did. So this song here, it's as far as this was originally recorded by the Scream Bin Lids, was it? This one? So it was back in the 90s, yeah, and then obviously Davey recorded it himself. So this is from his latest album, I think, the one he's released. It's called Running Uphill. It's actually another Derry song. So it is like a lot of the stuff that Davey writes. So tell us a bit about this here song, Ronan.
For me, it's probably Decky's most popular song, so that's why I sort of tend to, if I'm telling people to listen to Decky McLaughlin, I say listen to Running Uphill. The story and the lyric and the song is amazing. It's one of them, as obviously the song with Bloody Sunday, but just the way it's wrote, the way it's performed. Every time you hear Decky singing it, it's brilliant, and it's somebody you don't get to hear very often, unfortunately. Like I remember growing up, like when I was 15 or 16, you used to get Decky, Cruncher, and Gary doing the one gig. There was always like the Freedom doing one after the other, but you wouldn't get Decky playing much in Derry these days, so when he does play, it's great to hear him, but I find he mostly plays in America and stuff like that and all. But he's a great songwriter. He's wrote some fantastic songs. Obviously, I Believe, the one that Gary's covered and Chris has done, and Dogs of War is another great one. But
that's another song Gary does. Obviously, I mean, he's never, as far as I know, recorded any of them too himself. He obviously donated both of them to Gary songs, didn't he?
But there's other songs. Decky's wrote a couple of albums up on Spotify, and they're definitely worth listening. It's not all Irish or rebel stuff. It's world music. You know, it's travelled the line from Brentford, America. If you have him on Facebook, you would have had a comedy roadshow with his most recent trip he had there.
I was watching it on. Yeah, he was. I think he was detained straight away before he even got to go anywhere or whatever.
But no, he's a great songwriter, and I find he's an underappreciated songwriter. Obviously, in Derry, is massively respected and liked here, but I just find that the wider, outside of Derry and the wider audience, unless you see him with Damien Dempsey or something like that. And I love seeing him with I think the last 2 times I've seen Decky play, he's been playing before Damien Dempsey.
It's a shame. Like, I mean, obviously, you think for someone that the work he's done and he'd be bigger, like sort of. But again, it's just one of them things. It's we're nowadays, unless you sort of really like push yourself. But I think he sort of says, well, he's not sort of as social media savvy as a lot of what the ones are. I mean, it's sort of, and I think in this day and age, if you want to get yourself out there, you have to be basically full blown on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, everything, and just trying to get your music out there, like, so do. Right, so we'll do a song now. This is Davey McLaughlin, folks, with Running Uphill. And this is Ronan's third song choice for the day, so it is.
How many times must we do this to ourselves? Been on our knees a million times, asking for your help. Of all the answers that I don't understand, like I did not draw the firing line, but I know where to stand. Nobody told me, must have heard it on the news. People with nothing still had everything. It's like running uphill. It's like running uphill. In the corner of a graveyard, a mother kneels to pray, in the memory of a son that slowly fades away. In this part of the graveyard, the sun no longer shines. There's no fences or barbed wire, but still she's doing time, until she gets the answers to the questions that she asks. It's hard to build a future when you're haunted by the past. It's like running uphill. It's like running uphill. As the bodies hit the pavement, the world's seen what you've done. As the bodies hit the pavement, somebody's singing that we will overcome. It's like running uphill. It's like running uphill. And everybody gathered here on Central Drive is marching in the shadow of the truth you tried to hide. And every step that's taken is a breaking of your law, for your justice never added up to the murder that we saw. And time don't make no difference to the people that still care. In thousands we march the streets still knowing that you're there. It's like running uphill. It's like running uphill. It's like running uphill.
There we go. Sort of Davey McLaughlin there, folks, with Running Uphill. This is Rebel Sunday, folks. We're here today live from the Derry City Sports and Social Club. And again, big shout out to Anthony standing here for bringing us up this weekend, folks. And again, just if anything's about Derry today, you can still, I think you can be able to pay the door for this gig this afternoon. So we have Kelly's Men, Glass Nevin, Ricky Nixon, and what's the guy's name? Kev Quigley. And then Barry Davies will be on, and Pierce Whitehead as well. So it's going to be a great day, folks. Plus I'll be playing a few tunes in between each band. Plus the Celtic game's on in the bar as well today. So folks, get yourself up here. Cheap drink. It's going to be a good day here in the Derry City Sports and Social Club. So it is. So there's a few people have been asking for another couple of songs. There's Kieran Mack. What is the crack, mate? Cheers again for playing a few tunes for us last week there. Up at the McElhenney's, mate. Delighted for you. Let's see, Colin Thornton says, where's Joseph McGowan? He's about there somewhere, so he is. He's sitting down there, so he was. Right, we'll jump back into YouTube and see what else people are saying. There's our friend Terry Craney. He obviously hasn't torched me for any Damien Quinn today yet, so she hasn't. I'm sure she'll be there somewhere. Let's see, Lanky67 says, have an awesome day, troops, and Coy Big. I'll catch us in 2 weeks' time, not a problem, mate. let's see. I think the lads are all talking about this here. The match yesterday, so they were about the Rangers, the two guys getting sent off. Eamon Malley, how you doing, Eamon? Rule of Honour and recognition of the hunger strike parade today. Yes, that's going to be on at some stage this afternoon, mate. So it is. So let's see. Right, the next song we're going to do, folks, is obviously whenever I released my album for Suicide Awareness, or probably 2 years ago now. It's mad to think how long ago it was released. I reached out to a lot of the sort of singers and songwriters and sort of people, asked them to donate a song. And probably one of the most popular songs that has been on the album is a song called Joseph Mary. Obviously recorded by Sean McCafferty. It was Dina Barrett was originally wrote the song. So whenever we'll let Ronan talk about this here, because this was obviously from their album, The Stories of the Land. So it is. So from what I hear, Ronan, like, this is whenever you heard this song, this was the decision that they make this whole album on this song alone. So it was like. So tell us a wee bit about this here song, Joseph Mary.
So what basically happened, it would have been probably May or June of 2020. We were in lockdown, and I went down to see Paddy just about would he be interested, and we had an idea of doing an album of older songs. But then Sean had sent Paddy like a demo of him singing this song. Yep. And Paddy sort of said, it's a poor quality, it's just Sean on his phone or something like that. But the song was there. It was, the melodies there, the words were there, and it was just one of them songs. I just sort of said, we have to get this song out no matter what. And that just sort of was, it ended up being sort of the focal point with the album of a couple of our songs. And I find it goes a long way to show that original songs still can be popular. It doesn't always have to be now.
Definitely, yeah.
We have some great ballads, some great songs over the last 40 years. But I find that this idea now that we can still listen to new songs and they can make a difference. And I find this is one of those songs. It's just, even when I don't listen to the song very often. When you're involved in a project, you tend not to listen to it too much, or because you're involved in it and you know every detail. But I haven't listened to a song in a long time. Just when you asked me the other day to sort of put together a list of songs, it's like I have to play Joseph Mary. It's just such a great song, and it just
I can ask for every week in the show. So I don't try and do it every week. So I always say, like, I don't like playing the same songs over and over and over because they get boring then, and then people don't want to hear them. But I remember, like, before this was even released, after you sent it to me and said, what I think of this here song, obviously everybody's heard Grace, but this song here obviously tells the story from Grace's perspective then. So it is. So it's Dina Barrett, or did she write the song?
So originally? It was Dana wrote like a poem or lyric of it, and then Sean put the music to it, is my understanding of it anyway. I've never actually got to meet Dana in person. So we invited her up.
So where was she from?
She's from Mayo. I think she's somewhere around Mayo. But we invited her up last year for the launch, but she was away with her family and stuff like that. So I've never actually got to meet her. Hopefully someday I will and get to say thank you for just right.
So how did it come about her getting the Sean then? Does he know her, or what?
I honestly find she's just visiting Derry and got to know Sean from Patters or something like that. So Sean used to play in Patters every Saturday and Sunday. So he did. I find that's honestly I never asked Sean. Literally just once we heard the song, it was just that we wanted to have it, and then that sort of led us to Paddy writing songs, and we're doing the Doogie Wrestling with songs, and we ended up having 4 or 5 original songs on the Stories of the Land album, plus some really really good covers as well of older songs. So that's the whole idea of it. But then we recorded it for Flamore, it was a COVID thing we done, and we released the album in November 2020. It was on the podcast. Yeah. The day off it, where we went down to Studio 2, and we all had to be social distance, and there was 22 people involved in that album, and they said this, you need to scale it down. They come on and do this like social distance version.
We had too many people involved.
Social distance, like a virtual launch basically. And cheers to Ollie Green. He runs Studio 2 and Greater Chantal Community Arts, and he's been a massive supporter of all our projects. That's where we held the album launch. He let me have my 30th birthday in there as well, so cheers Ollie. But that day we recorded that song with Sean and all the musicians on stage. You would like everybody's social distance, but you would hear a pan drop just to
even that when you. It's on YouTube. The video.
That version's on YouTube.
It's lovely. Just the whole setting of the video and stuff. It's just the way it's all done with all the instruments, and obviously the girls doing the backing singing and all. It's really really. So check it out, folks. If you're on YouTube, it's Joseph Mary. So who is involved on this song?
On the track, so it's Sean on guitar and vocal. Paddy does a bit of guitar on it as well. I think Paddy done the bass on it too. Kieran Curran done the flute and whistle. Stephen done the accordion. Stephen Curran, his brother, done the accordion, and Robert Peoples done the fiddle. and then it was Monaghan Nixon and Monaghan McGuigan with Paddy done the harmonies. It was like a 3-part harmony on that, which is very difficult to do, but it gives it that sort of, when them voices are coming together, it's an amazing thing. The thing I always loved about the song was just the way Sean sings it. I think Sean always sort of said the song should have been an E, which is a key up from, but he done it in D because the flute's in D, but Sean singing that sort of lower register, it really made it a different sort of way of the song.
I can still remember when I first played it on the show, like, and the people were just like, "What is this? It's so beautiful." Like, I think even now I play it the odd time on a Sunday, and some people haven't heard it before, and you'll just see the comments going, "What the hell's this song? Who's singing this?" Whatever, and so yeah, fantastic song. Right, so this is the next tune, folks, from Ronan's selection today. This is I think it's the next 4 songs are going to be then from your album, aren't they?
The last 3 just
yeah, the next 3 and I. So of it, yeah. So here, this is Joseph Mary, folks, from Sean McCaffrey, on Rebel Sundays.
As you look upon me, you gaze into my eyes. Pain, it moves in slowly, for you've a greater love than I. I'll forgive you for your first love, for Ireland is so deep. And I know for you to save her, you must leave me. My heart is breaking, Joseph, as I hear the seagulls play. No longer you'll be with me after all of this today. I know I'll never love again, my heart is far too sore. And I know that you'll stay with me until we meet once more. 1,000 times I've pictured our wedding in my head, with all our comrades gathered, but your fate is set instead. These memories of Kilmainham will stay with me now. This fight for Irish freedom has led us to our vows. Our love lies in the future of Ireland bright and free. We took the call together to gain our liberty. But until then, dear Joseph, sleep well the Grammachrie. And when I finally join you, we'll have eternity. 1,000 times I've pictured our wedding in my head, with all our comrades gathered, but your fate is set instead. These memories of Kilmainham will stay with me now. This fight for Irish freedom has led us to our vows. This fight for Irish freedom has led us to our vows.
Yeah, absolutely. Beautiful, folks. That is Joseph Mary from the Stories Land album from Sean McCafferty. So it is, big shout. Lynn Houston, how are you doing? He's watching today on Facebook. Two of us just jumped off screen there, folks. I've seen Joseph McGow, say who's one of the regular watchers of the show. I just want to get a wee picture with us. So, Joseph, cheers, mate. Cheers for coming down to see us this afternoon.
Hey.
Paint the rock shore, mate. Come on, cheers. Let's see it. So back on the YouTube here. Peter Stephen White says that, Ro, can you play Boys of the Old Brigade for Mark White and Danny from his brother Stephen up the Hail, hail, God bless, Ireland's 32. Carl Anna saying, Ro, God's sake, please play Mr. Quinn for Terry before she goes to watch the Celtic game, or she'll be crying, so she will. It wouldn't like Terry to be crying, so it wouldn't be. Let's see. Peter Stephen White says, Ro, another Magic Sunday. Please play Mary Playboy for Mark White and Danny and his brother. Hail, hail, God bless you, Ro. Not a problem, mate. Let's see. Lee Kerr says, stand up with John Hearn. Obviously, he's talking, lads, about this guy, John the Larn player, who was pictured last week at the Wolfhounds concert with a sort of Chucky Arla up the Ra t-shirt. Listen, as much as sort of it was all a bit of crack and all, but my sort of opinion on it is, listen, look, the guy plays for Larne Football Club, I mean, which is a bit of a dodgy hole to say the least, and would probably have a lot of sort of loyalist supporters and stuff. And I think on his part, being pictured at a Wolfhounds concert and putting on Instagram wearing a bit of Chuck Arla t-shirt was probably a bit of a wrong move in his part. So it was. Obviously he's got a big 10-game ban now, which isn't great for him. Like, but listen, from what I see, Lauren is probably going to get rid of him now from what I'm reading now. So it is. So bit of a silly boy. Yeah, shout out as well, folks, to everyone last week who was at the McElhenney's gig, who all sort of came around us. Fantastic. He's made it a great day, and everybody who stopped at the concert at the Fela asked me for pictures and all, which was great. Much to the annoyance of my wife, who was waiting on me going to the bar to bring the drink back to shows. But yeah, a bit of crack anyway. Right, so what do we have here? We have another... we'll try to listen to another 2 or 3 songs through before Barry lands down. So we're going to do the next here song here for you. So this guy here... who is Alban Norby, who actually called in to see last night at his bar, Lizzie O'Farrell's, when it was finished here at the gig, and I didn't get a chance to chat to him. I wanted to, but he just disappeared before I could see him. But he was playing with Una last night. 2 brilliant musicians. A lot of the stuff we were doing, it wasn't sort of folky or trad. They were doing all sorts of stuff last night, but that there Lizzie's was just pumping. So it was, as was the whole of Barry's just said he's on his way. The whole of Waterloo Street was bunged last night. Obviously you were there yesterday in Potters, you were. Take it that's just that every weekend, is it? It's just no matter who's on or what?
Every weekend, now, Saturday and a Sunday especially, Waterloo Street's just, it's just mad. But it's always a good buzz, you know, it's never much hassle or any hassle at all. And like getting on the Lizzie's on Saturday night's hard enough, but it's a Saturday night crowd. Then we Keelan's up as doing his Saturday.
Yeah, which is I didn't know, it's reason.
Ended up there last Saturday night. He was doing some questionable tunes towards the end of the night anyway, but
not as
not questionable as yours, in fairness.
As I say, yeah, when I was texting around last night, some of the songs I was playing, and I was like, what the hell? Some of the requests I was getting last night, all these like mad country artists and all, and I was going, who is this? And he was like, hey, your man's a legend. So he is. White shirt outfit. Who was it again?
Randy Travis, it was.
Randy Travis. Some girl asked me to play it, and I was like, who? She's like, who? Who's Randy Travis? You use Westies, you don't know what the hell. Dude. To be honest, there isn't a big demand for country music in the West Belfast, say, unless it's Marty Moon trying to hit the death flick. I don't really know it. But yeah, it was a bit of crack last night. So listen, this next one here, right? Elizabeth O'Farrell, right? We're going to play. Obviously, this is the bar that Albans named his bar after, or the song.
That is
Lizzie O'Farrell's. So is this an original track?
So this is Doogie Bresson wrote this song about 2012, 2013. Doogie brought an album out, and then he wanted to do a project where he wanted to write songs for other people. So he started writing tracks. He wrote a song called "My First Dance" for my dad. My dad, unfortunately, say 2014 wrote that. My dad never got to record it because he passed away in 2015. But then a load of artists signed that song. He wrote "Bridge of Tears" for Sean McCafferty, but whatever happened, these songs never got recorded. Doogie ended up doing "Bridge of Tears" himself on Stories of Land.
Yeah.
He wrote a song called "Tomas" for Tommy Quigley. He just wrote these series of songs for artists, and he wrote Lizzie O'Farrell for Kelly's Men, which at that point would have been me, Mickey and Rory. And we had finished our actual first album, and he gave us this song, and he gave us like different versions of Death Before Revenge. He gave us Kieran Fleming, all these sort of pioneer band songs that not very many people recorded. And
yeah,
So the songs were later, and Doogie before sang it once or twice live, and I remember I asked Doogie to sing it on Stories of a Land, and he said it just didn't want to do it, just wouldn't be his friend to do it. I was like, you wrote the song, sing the song.
Yeah.
And then I just said at the album at one point, so I'll do it. He knew the song from just hearing Doogie play it. So the album was going to do a different song, what he was going to do with Lena Hello. He's been saying that for 3 albums, and he's never got around to doing it. But so Alvin done the song, then next one, and he told me just as we recorded the song, don't say nothing, but that's going to be the name of the bar as well, and that was
very good.
So that was months before it was all public knowledge. It was still a castle. We were locked down there. So, but that's what. But the song itself is a great song. The story is a great story because it's about how she was basically airbrushed out of history.
And so tell us a bit about who Elizabeth O'Farrell was.
So Nurse O'Farrell, she was on the GPO during the 1916 Rising. She tended any of the volunteers who were wanted. She was basically sent out to give the term to surrender. But the famous photo basically is Peter surrendering, but she's actually beside him with airbrushed out, and that's what the line is in history. With the woman in the movement at that point, we're just sort of an attempt at erase from history. So it's Doogie's way of trying to correct that. So he wrote that song in regards to that. So all his songs have sort of a historical context to them. So if you want to know about bits of history you might not know, then that's what a song like this is about. So it is. So
remember when you first sent me it? Actually, before it was finished, you were just sending the week sort of clippings, recording of it, and so you like the drums and this. But here, it's a phenomenal song. Like, but I can't really imagine sort of Doogie singing this song. To me, it seems a bit too fast for him. Whatever.
Well, the actual way of the song is not very different at all to how he wrote it. Like obviously, Alvin plays it his way, and Kieran Carlin wrote some brilliant parts for the flute and the whistle. Like he was going up high in the flute or low in the flute and high in the whistle and stuff like that. But the actual way of it is how the song wrote. There was no sort of major adjustments. Doogie put a middle 8 on, which is basically it's just a different way of breaking up a song. He done that. He was sort of rewriting the song as before we went on to record it, so he was still involved in it. So for him, it's great to have he sees us getting his songs out there. So and he's more happy for.
It's definitely one of my favourite songs out of all the albums. Like it's just because I'd never heard it before and didn't know a lot about sort of Nurse O'Farrell. I mean, that's when you look into it then. But the story, and it basically tells her whole story as well in the song. Like, it does better. Barry, it's just we were talking about your man Randy Travis. He says, is he not a wrestler? Randy? Is it Randy Orton or something? He's talking about not him anyway. Right, first, this is the next song. We're here broadcast today live on Facebook and YouTube from the Derry City Sports and Social Club. Sort of the calm before the storm, before all the madness kicks off on this stage here right now later on. Obviously you can't see, we're stuck in a wee corner here, so we are on this here big stage in the main hall of the bar, folks. Say it's all a bit cramped, but we're getting there. So here we go. This is the next song, folks, from Ronan's collection. And this is from the Stories of the Land album. This is Alban Norby with Elizabeth O'Farrell.
Born in Dublin in 1884. She cared about people and wasn't selfish to the core. In 1916 she served in the GPO to the end. Dispatched to her comrades, dodging bullets for her friends. And the nurse is a paro, Elizabeth O'Farrell is without fail Ireland's Florence Nightingale. Running down Mare Street with the white flag in her hand. The people of Dublin, well, they didn't understand. With instructions from Pierce, she sought out General Lowe, carrying terms of surrender. Through the barricade she'd go. And the nurse is a paro, Elizabeth O'Farrell is without fail Ireland's Florence Nightingale. Seen an old photograph after Pierce took off his sword. The opposing commanders meet, but there's something untoward. I'm looking at 3 soldiers stand, yet the scene is incomplete. They've airbrushed Elizabeth out, yet we can still see her feet. In their nurse's apparel, Elizabeth O'Farrell is without fail Ireland's Florence Nightingale. At the time it was a man's world, and woman knew their place. But a few like Lizzie raised her head above the crowd as she weaved around the outpost, knowing they'd made a vow to die. But reluctantly they laid down their guns and came out. At Hull Street Hospital, a monument bears her name for the loving and devoted nurse to the people she became. Her legacy's clear to see, though in the picture they tried to erase. Elizabeth O'Farrell's fame will be memorized always in her nurse's apparel. Elizabeth O'Farrell is without fail Ireland's Florence Nightingale. Is without fail Ireland's Florence Nightingale.
There we go, folks. That is Elizabeth O'Farrell, all about Nurse O'Farrell. Fantastic song there. Originally written by Dougie Breslin and recorded there by Alban Norby for the Stories of the Land album. Still joined here by Ronan, folks, at the Derry City Sports and Social Club. So it's a bit quiet here now before we land into the match and for the big gig this afternoon. So if anything's about Derry, folks, today, and you're on our way to the parade, and head up here. So we have a great day. It says cheap drinks with us, and there's a couple of brilliant bands on here. You can pay at the door. It's tenner in. It's going to be Kelly's Men, Glass Nevin, Ricky Nixon, Barry Davies will be on, and Pierce Whitehouse. There's Barry landing nice. So he is just looking very sharp, I have to say. So he is.
Refreshed is the word I would use there.
Look at his, he has his full on. He's wrapping the football hooligan gear on the day, so he is on the. We just see him getting it on the arm there on the camera. Make sure we can see it, so we will. So, right. So listen, we're going to finish up here on Ronan, the first hour, folks, of the show with Ronan's last song. Actually, because we're in Derry, we'll have to do obviously a song all about Bloody Sunday. So do. See, this song here, it's called The City Cried. So it is. So Ronan, who wrote this one?
Paddy Nixon wrote this one. So it was actually on the Raising Song Story album, but Paddy hated the version. He's always fretting they ever put up in line, he would get it tucked down and stuff like that. But it's one of those songs that's just been sitting about, and we wanted to do something with it, and we just thought there's no better voice than Tommy Crowley. Like you'd ask Barry or any of the sort of Derry musicians, Tommy's sort of seen as just the sort of the granddaddy of Derry folk and rebel music. He's been about 25-30 years. Yeah, it's not really known outside of Derry, and don't give him. It doesn't venture much further than that, but anybody here has voice is sort of the quintessential voice.
His son sung one of the songs.
I think Tomas, he signed on the Patriot game on the first Raising Song Story album, then Sweet 16 for on the Notes and Derry album. That was a really good version, Sweet 16. In fairness, that was my mum's favourite song.
Version now.
We always used to sit at our kitchen table full singing that. And that's why he signed it on the album for. But I found I just wanted to just get a song with Tommy singing, and obviously a song of Bloody Sunday. The song went really well. Nearly a couple hundred thousand views across YouTube and Facebook and all the different various social media stuff. So it's just it's a fantastic song, great arrangement, great playing, great singing. So.
Oh, we haven't been cut off, have we? We're still live. That's right. We're still live now. I thought the page just disappeared there. Yeah, big shout out to Neil Cosling as well, another regular listener to the show. He's watching from Staten Island in New York, so he is. For a play for tuning in. Obviously, it's pretty early in the morning over there now. So it is. It's normally pretty early whenever we start at 1 o'clock. They remain 12 o'clock, so fair play to you, mate. So, obviously, Ronan, before we let you go, so what's sort of next for you? What is sort of, have you any other plans to release anything coming up? Or
nothing really set in stone yet. We're just talking about what we can do next, but if we do something next, it probably will be something very different to what the last album was. That's that project done. So, but nothing set in stone. So we'll see what happens anyway in the next few months. But
No problem. Well, listen, mate, cheers for coming down today.
Pleasure as always.
Much appreciated. So listen, this is the next song we'll do from Ronan's song list. This is The City Cried. It's a great song all about Bloody Sunday. I've seen you listen to the words in this, and Tommy sort of mentions all the people who died at Bloody Sunday. It's a very, very emotional song. So this is The City Cried, folks, on Rebel Sundays, live here from the Derry City Sports and Social Club.
Was a day unlike any other at the end of January, where the people marched together for their rights and equality. From Bishop's Field to Shoulder, from Craigan to the Bogside, till they met a grave injustice and the city cried. When she awoke that Sunday, there was none who could foretell that for 13 of her children was their last day on this earth. As the world looked on in disbelief, and the Fleet Street presses lied with the sorrows of a mother, the city cried. And her tears, they filled an ocean when she saw what they had done for demand and equal treatment. They took 14 of her sons. So remember Bloody Sunday, and remember those who died, and don't forget what happened while a city cried. There was Jackie Duddy, William Nash, young Gerald Donaghy, John Johnson, Willie McKinney, and Paddy Doherty. There was Barney McGuigan and Michael McDade and Kevin McElhenney, Hugh Gilmore, John Young, Jim Ray, Michael Kelly and Jared McKinney. And the tears that filled the ocean soon became a tidal wave, and it washed away the debris that besmirched their 14 games. So remember Bloody Sunday, and remember those who died, and don't forget what happened or why the city cried. God bless and keep my children, says Dara with sad smile.
There we go, folks. That's the city cry there from Tommy Quigley. So cheers to the Roan McDonald, mate. Much appreciated. So we'll have our next victim now, folks, or we'll next friend of mine, should I say, in Mercedes. So before we start, Barry, get that thing in the camera so we can see it, will you?
Get the badge in here.
Definitely.
Screenshot somebody.
Screenshot. He just wants to know how much money he paid fit there. Or was that from the Sunday market? Did you pay full money fit there?
No comment.
Aye. Right, folks, yes, we're back here, still here at the Derry City Sports and Social Club, joined by another sort of good friend of mine, Barry Davey. You say he's to me, he's still a Westie. He's just sort of residing in Derry at the minute. So he is
On the run.
On the run, aye. So listen, Barry has given me another playlist as well. So we're going to have to load his up a second. So some people are asking for back home in Derry. So we're going to do that there. Obviously, we are here in Derry, folks. What the that song of the day. Plus, some people are asking for Rule of Honour, which we will play before we finish today, because obviously the hunger strike. Oh, let's get that off. The hunger strike commemoration is taking place in Belfast today. So we'll play this here one here from Krista's album. Another sort of Derry native. She's back home in Glasgow this weekend, I think. So she is. So this is from Krista's album, From the Streets of Free Derry. This is Anthony said that Barry get his hair done for the day.
Yes, obviously.
But extra
I had the
gel, brill cream put in there. Jesus.
Brill cream? Oh, no.
That's what kept you this morning, was it? You were getting braced in there.
What kept me this morning was playing Leighton George's last night, but that's another story for another day.
Right, so we'll go to this here song here, then we'll get Barry's his playlist. So this is Krista Coyle, folks, with Back Home in Derry. What him it?
That's only Rory.
Aye. Call the racket. That's it.
Out from that sweet town of Derry, and for Australia bound if we didn't all drown, and the marks of our fetters we carry in the rusty iron chain we sighed for away. Our good women we left in sorrow as the mainsails unfurled and the curses we hurled on the English thought of tomorrow. Down below decks they were lying, and old Tordy scream woken out of a dream by a vision of old Robert dying. And the sunburn is cruel as we dished out the gruel. Dan O'Connor is down with the fever. 60 rebels today bound for Botany Bay. How many will reach the receiver? Souls to Hades by twilight. 5
Yeah, just realised that the mics were on there the whole time, so they were. So hopefully we didn't say nothing untoward there. I'm sure somebody will tell me anyway if they did.
I probably did.
What?
I probably did. It's standard for me.
Yeah, folks, so if there's any record, it's just Rory's just on here setting up his drums and all for the day for later on, so hopefully we don't get annoyed too much.
Not you.
Yeah, not me. Rory from Kelly's Men. The only drummer I've ever seen standing up playing a drum kit, which is phenomenal, brilliant. Let's say, so we're joined here by Barry Davey, folks. So Barry, welcome along to the show. Obviously, you've been on before.
Yes.
On the audio, first time we'll have you on camera.
Yeah.
So obviously, since the last time we spoke, you're quite busy. Like, a lot of gigs, so you are and stuff, whatever. So what's been happening? Where are you sort of playing and stuff?
To be honest, Ro, I've been here, there, and everywhere. I was playing a lot in Donegal, playing around the town, just doing the sort of the usual circuit, I suppose. Not really been venturing too far, although I was in the Ardoyne, the league club on Easter Tuesday, I think it was. I was
in the last city. See that place there? Literally, it's like, see if you're looking for this place, you cannot find it. Like,
yeah.
so you couldn't. It's in the middle of Ardoyne and a wee housing estate, and they built the housing estate around this bar.
Yeah.
So they did, and it was like, lucky enough, if I don't do a gig in it, I'm happy enough, but I got a booking for the last 2 weeks. But nearly, you know what I found? I believe it was raising. I mean, if you're in the cell in there, you'd go into the wee housing estate at the front and
yes, yeah.
like a maze, crystal maze. So I was bringing my stuff out, and some old boy came out in a mobility scooter, come out of the bar, right, blocked, and he says, "Why are you bringing all your stuff that way for?" I says, "Why?" He says, "Look up there." And I turned around, and there's an alleyway. You can drive straight from Ardoyne, right down the back of people's houses, and it really brings into the back door of the bar. So it does. And I haven't hung all my stuff in through here for the last like years in this here in like a crystal maze. So half, and he says, in literally 5 minutes, in and out, grand. So it was like
the first time I ever played there was for the band function that you got me down for.
Oh, a couple years ago.
That gig on Easter Tuesday was an absolute disaster. The car broke down on the M2 on the way in, and I had to get Dal to come and pick me up with all my gear and leave the car just abandoned on the M2. Smoke coming out of it and everything. It was great crack.
Yeah. So you see, before when we had on the last time, you sort of hadn't really started off your sort of wee project with the Baraboo thing.
Yeah.
So what's happening out there? What's
Baraboo has it's taken a bit of a back seat, and I shoulder a lot of responsibility for that one. Life gets in the way.
Yeah.
You know, it happens, and at times I'm not free because I'm doing my own stuff. I've already got bookings, and I feel bad that I would have to cancel bookings on places or not being able to get cover or anything for them. And understandably so. It was frustrating for me just as much as it was frustrating for Andy. And I did want to try and get it back on. We were meant to have a gig next Saturday, I believe, in Shantallow for one of the volunteers. There's like a football tournament every year,
right?
And unfortunately, I haven't been able to get in contact with Andy for one reason or another. I've sent him messages and stuff, and if he's annoyed, he's annoyed. It's on me, sort of thing. But
it's one of them things, like. But
it is. But hopefully, we'll get it back together.
You're the gigs, the regular gigs you're doing. Is it?
Yeah.
So it's a bit of everything. Obviously, you're just doing all Salt and Rebel stuff. Like, I mean.
So yeah, a lot of the venues in the town wouldn't be too pleased with hearing you'll never see Maggie Thatcher again. But I started off doing covers and stuff. Funny enough, Out the Front here was my first ever gig, and it was more or less the Definitely Maybe album of Oasis.
You're not playing any Randy Jackson then, or Randy?
No, I'm not playing any Randy Travis. No, Randy Orton.
Aye, I've seen the girls asking for that. I was like, what? Who? Oh, you'll love it. They'll all go mad. I was like, I heard that before.
For one reason or another, I think it's maybe because we're so close to Donegal. There's an awful lot of cultures about, and they listen to country music. And my missus, she absolutely loves country music. And I took a chance just before Christmas and buying tickets for Garth Brooks. Hates Garth Brooks.
She hates Garth Brooks.
So if anybody's looking for a ticket for Garth Brooks,
well, actually, if you're selling them, maybe in that. But here, I don't think it's a problem. I think trying to get a hotel is a problem. I was looking up here last week. Some of the prices in Dublin is madness. Like,
it's
robbing bastards.
Yeah. But sure, they always were, and they fucking hate us Northerners. So.
I know, Northies well. Right, so we're going to do the first song of Barry's, and he's chosen to pick one of the longest songs he probably could. Like, this is a song that's 7 minutes 12 seconds long from Gary Oak. So obviously you'll all hear me referring to Gary Oakfolk as the GOAT, obviously the greatest of all, because I've been lucky enough to do a lot of gigs with him over the last few years, thanks to Connor and Saoirse and Michael, whatever, that get me involved with some of the stuff. And obviously following him from the Euro days, like the guy's voice is just it's phenomenal. Some of the notes he can hit, even like obviously some of the notes he can hit in the guitar, or whatever. Like, but even last week in true Gary Oak form, like at the Fela, literally his guitar string broke literally in the second song of the set. He done some sort of Dylan's there, and then he's like, "Right, folks, take 10 minutes here to change this guitar." And you're like, "Jesus Christ!" Every gig I ever seen him, he's had to stop and change his guitar string. Yeah. So he has like, so let's hear a song we're going to play for Ireland and not tell our name. Tell us a wee bit about this song.
Right. So this song, it has a bit of an emotional backstory to me. I promise I'll try not to cry. So my uncle, it was his anniversary on the 18th. My uncle Jared, and he was a volunteer, and I played this at his graveside. And listening back to old, it was sort of listening to the slow airs and slower rebel songs, the likes of Bull of Vogue and stuff came up obviously, but I wasn't really feeling playing it. And then when I heard For Ireland I Not Tell Her Name for the first time ever, I was like, this is the one. And I played it at the graveside, and I played it at a couple of gravesides ever since. I'm a bit morbid, like, for a Sunday morning, afternoon, whatever. But it's one that always sort of stuck with me as a great tune. And when you'll hear this version, and Gary's absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, obviously,
as you were saying,
we spoke about Chris Cruikshank as well earlier on there, and obviously Gary recorded this in Chris's studio. Yeah, and that guy there is just. He's phenomenal. Like if anybody obviously in Scotland, whoever it is, wants to produce an album, he's the man to go to. Like, because probably anybody that's had an album over there that's been released, Chris has been in there involved somewhere along the lines. So he has like. Yeah. So then here we go. It's the first song of and we'll turn the mix down this time when the song's playing. So so this is Gary Oak, folks, and this isn't from any album. This is just like a one-off recording done in it.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Well, it is off the. Like, you go onto the album itself, it's a Rebel Collective one, so there is other.
Oh, on Spotify. Yeah. So this is For Ireland I'll Not Tell Her Name, folks, on Rebel Sundays.
I wandered quietly to my little farm, a beautiful maid I'm not here, whose loneliness caused my heart harm. My heart there love-smitten sorrow, lips that came to meet her. I raced the field but for Ireland I did not tell her name. There's beauty, but my words would heed. The words that I speak would be true. I'd help her in every need, and indeed all the work I would do to win one fond kiss from my love. I'd read her romances of fame, her champion I daily would prove, but for Ireland I'd not tell her name. There's a beautiful stately young man at the end of my little farm. She's welcome, kind, unafraid. Her smile is both childlike and warm. Her gold hair masses that grows like amber, and she is that same. Like the road, but for Ireland I did not tell her as deep as I wandered quite near to the borders of little farm. A beautiful maiden appeared, whose loveliness caused my heart harm. And by her there smitten sour, and the words from her sweet lips that came to meet her, I raised the field door.
Aye, but you're ready as a ball back.
That's the sound of nobody's a ball back. He's just Gary Ogre, folks, for Ireland. I'll not tell her name. We'll leave it the last 2 minutes of it. So I think I was a bit selfish. Barry picking that song or so.
It was very selfish.
That's for listening in the car, not trying to a radio broadcast. Fuck's sake. But yeah, folks, we're still here. We're live in Derry City Sport and Social Club, folks, for Rebel Sundays. They on the move this weekend. We're back in the studio properly next Sunday. But folks, just a word of warning. Although I did say we're back next week, the following week there's no show again because and don't shout at me now. It's my wee girl's daughter's first birthday, so it is. So you had to forgive me now. We're having our first birthday party. That's on that Sunday on the 4th. So it is. So we did try and do it on the Saturday. So but we can't get the hall available, and which made me good now because it means I can watch the Saturday Rangers match now. So I can instead. Maybe I just booked the Sunday instead of the Saturday. Hopefully Laura isn't listening. But no, yeah, folks. So the following Sunday from next week, it'll be the 4th. There will be no show. So we all slabbering me going, "Oh, you're never here and all whatever." That's my daughter's Maeve's first birthday party, folks. So that's why we're not going to have. But after that, hopefully everything's be back to normal. We'll be back in the studio every week, and we'll be going back to what we do. So. So joined here by Barry Davey. That was his first songer. So it was Gary Oak for Ireland. I'll not tell her name. So he actually picked another song here. one of the ones that Ronan picked as well. He picked the Glasnevin version of the Smuggler, but Barry wants to do the original one, the Panger Band version. So we'll do that there on down in the list. But the next song we're going to do is obviously a song loads of people have been asking for us already today, George and Pop. This is another song from Glasnevin's album, We Only Want the Earth. So it is a phenomenal version, this here song again. So Barry, tell us a wee bit about, by the way, folks, we've been cut off Facebook, so we have, just in case if any of you have all jumped on the YouTube, hopefully you're all watching, because I've seen the numbers jumping up on YouTube there anyway, so there. I think whatever happened there, that their song is just knocked us off, so unfortunately, we only got about an hour and a half today. Normally, we usually get 2 or 3 hours on Facebook before Zuckerberg decides to kick us off, but what can you do? That's just the old Facebook fascism for you. So yeah, so this song here, George and Pop, Barry, doesn't need a lot of explanation, but it's a regular song we'll play in the show, and we'll play all different versions of it. But so tell us about why you wanted to pick this for one of your songs today.
So George and Pop was one of the first Rebel songs I learned after the likes of Grace, John South of Gary and stuff. It's the first one that I listened to and thought I want to play that one. And there's a bar in the town in Craigan actually, the Crescent, and there's a fella drinks in there, Paddy McGlinchey, running. Yeah, Paddy wrote the song. And I was playing it in there one night, and I didn't even know it was Paddy that wrote it. I was playing it, and he stopped me after and says, "Look, I wrote that song." And he told me the whole backstory of how he wrote it when he was inside, and he gave it out, and Panger Band took it and recorded it, and it's an amazing song. Like everywhere I go, no matter if I'm playing like covers or I'm playing the Rebs, the war tunes, somebody will ask me for George and Pop.
See, talking of your obviously the war tunes, you have a famous book. I also think, are you advanced yet, where you don't need the words yet? Are you still using the words of some of the songs?
Very far advanced that I tend not.
You're using an iPad now instead?
I'm using the iPad, yeah.
Instead of your book of war tunes?
Oh, look, there's some of the I hate forgetting lyrics, and I hate forgetting chords. And I can make them up on the spot, but I hate doing that. I feel it sort of disrespects the song a bit, so I hold on them as a just in case rather than I definitely need this. But listen, for the cover stuff, I definitely need this.
I was at the Wolfhounds last week, and Brian Morphy was able to play a banjo without even playing it. So he was, as he was standing drinking a bottle of Coors late, and the banjo was flying over the speakers. And there's one song that Tommy was singing as well, and he was bending down to pick a bottle of beer up, and his voice was so
look, the lads are
if they can get away with it, so
the lads are pincers, so there's magic in them, you know what I mean?
That's what we'll call it, yeah. Right, so here we go. This is folks,
there's
next
a play
tune.
button on them, yeah.
Yeah. This is Glasnevin, folks, with from their album We Only Want the Earth, and say Glasnevin's going to be here today, hopefully with all their leads. To say that they had to borrow some last night to do their gig.
Ideally sober too.
And what?
Ideally sober as well.
Well, I haven't seen them actually. Well, actually, they did. We've done that. Our gig, the Jared Glackens one, the big one we done up in Cookstown. They were playing, and two of them they were, because I think Connor was trading actually, and they were both on them wee bottles of the blue Peronis. That must be the non-alcoholic ones. So, but that was the first seeing them. But I doubt they'll be sober the night, so they won't. Like, so we go. This is Glasnevin, folks, with the bottle of George and Pop. You'd play.
On the slopes of the Craigan,
the Walsall.
One morning in May, 4 young lads left their base with heart young and gay. Their cause was for freedom, a cause on the night. The farming oppressor they went to defy. But patrolling past the reeds, they met with the foe. With guns at the ready, the lads had to go. So they raise up our hands and we'll curse that British land who taught men the very hearted man who dared across their plan. But my heart was broken too. Won't you tell me what to do? stop me and you. Well, the place that fell silence, and the shit's in doggy town. Turning lights till they dead on the streets of our town. That's another 2 lives lost from the ongoing fight. And in Davey we're more than that faithful night. So we'll raise up our hands and we'll curse that British land who torment the very heart of man and did across the path. But my heart is broken too. Won't you tell me what to do? They couldn't stop our Georgian pop and then not stop me and you. But my heart is broken too. Won't you tell me what to do? They couldn't stop our Jordan pop and they'll not stop me and you. They're George and Pop. They like old stone. Made that fighting for Derry their own native home. So always remember and don't ever forget. Made that fighting for Ireland and beyond and dead. So we'll raise up our hands and we'll curse that British land who torment the very heart of man who did across the path. But my heart is broken too. Won't you tell me what to do? They gonna stop our Georgian pop and they'll not stop me and you.
There we go, folks. Son of Georgian Pop from Nevin from their album We Only Want the Earth. Second time on the show today for the Nevin song. So the lads are going to be here later on this afternoon, or well, tonight, playing before Callie's Men. I think they're on stage at 9 o'clock or something. So it is. I've just had a text there from my mother. Got to be wrapping the knuckles. So I have. So sorry, mummy.
For flip's sake.
For flip's sake. She'd be going, and I'll be getting banned from the studio in the house. So we learn down to it. So let's see. Joseph McGay says West Belfast Festival not trusting predictive text anymore. Oh, he's talking about obviously the people giving all the grief for the Wolftone song there last week. But the obviously I would listen to radio also in the mornings, like what obviously Nolan, it was predictive what he was going to do, like, you know what I mean, this year, but I think last week in particular it was it doesn't normally get as much exposure, but I think obviously, what are you saying, Stephen Nolan's a what?
A lovely fella.
A lovely fella?
No, look.
What? Aye. He's not a journalist, Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry, Kate, but he's an absolute fucking gobshite.
Right, that wasn't me saying that there, so wasn't. No more.
I apologise first, I mean.
Yeah, and this is the man that brought you. And he said it was this time last year he brought you on the tour
that's right,
in the box side. So he's promising to bring me around in the morning. So hopefully before I leave tomorrow.
I never said morning.
Well, I'll be up near the door at 9 o'clock in the morning. Because if I'm at home by 12 o'clock, Laura will be bringing me, so she will. Right, so we'll have another song to play on Barry's playlist today. So it is. So what's any big gigs or anything coming up, Barry, anywhere?
Any big gigs? Nothing really at the minute. I was in talks about getting over to Glasgow for the game next week, but right. I've taken on a christening on the Saturday, thinking the game would have been on the Sunday, so I'm out. Unlucky. Yeah. No, I've got a gig, a commemoration next week in Shantallow, the Shantallow Community Centre. Yeah, and that'll be a big one. I think the tickets are more or less sold out for that one. But at the minute, no, nothing really. I'm just sort of going through the diary and doing the regular gigs that I've booked in, like of as I say, George's today of the DC here.
You're opening up the gig here today, so what's people expect then? It's just full on.
Do you know what?
War tunes or
seeing as Ronan was crying about Oasis, I think I'll play a lot of Oasis. Wouldn't be the first time, won't be the last. No, seeing as it's during the Celtic match, I'll probably be playing all sorts of Penny Arcade and
Simply the Best.
Yeah. Because I'm wearing the right colours, and I didn't really think that through. But no, I'll be playing the likes of the Celtic songs and whatever else.
Martin Cunningham just says, great tune. What's the name of that song by Gary Ogle? So it's called For Ireland. And not tell her name, and that's there's all off Spotify. You can get it on, so you can't just go and check. And if you check out the Rebel Collective folks on Spotify, there's a massive big playlist they have, brilliant. Probably every Rebel song I've written, I think, is probably been on there. Right, so next song we're going to do here now is another song from Davey McLaughlin. We'll play one earlier on, actually, on Ronan's song choices. Was on Run Uphill. This time here, it's a song, obviously, when Davey, I think the video for this year when he done it, I think when the RDS was here, so it was, and he had sort of said, it was the first time he sung, he said, I've spent the last 20 years writing this song or something, whatever it was, and it's the first time doing it. So tells me that this here song's called Rise. So Barry, tells me about this song.
So the song itself, it's the only other Davey McLaughlin song I could have picked. The one I wanted to pick was picked by Ronan, so I was sort of never worried about it. I was sort of stuck there, but Davey is probably the greatest songwriter I've ever met, I've ever heard of, and he's an absolute legend too. Like, he's just so down to earth and chilled out, and he doesn't really care. It was through Luke McLaughlin, no relation. I met Davey.
Oh, I thought they were related to him too.
Yeah, no, they're not at all. Right. But Luke's one of my best mates. The band Touts, ironically named. And Luke introduced me to Davey, and I met him. There was a gig on in the gas yard where, was it Damien Dempsey turned up and John Connors. They weren't playing. Gary Oak was meant to be playing, and there was nothing on before. There was no warm-up act, so of course I was called in the action, and ended up getting a chat to Davey after the gig and a couple of photos and whatever, and we were a wee bit worse for wear, but that's neither here nor there. But this song, I heard it at the RDS itself. I was there, and it was absolutely phenomenal. You could have heard a pin drop in the hall, and Davey, as I say, he's just a phenomenal songwriter, and you'll hear it in this song. It's absolutely.
So I just listen to the words of this song. It's brilliant. It's just it tells a story, and obviously, when it sort of said, if you watch, you can watch it on YouTube from out there when he first played it, and he sort of said, "Listen, I've been writing this song for the last maybe 15 years, and it's finally came to fruition." So it is. I think they probably said, "Listen, if you can have it ready for the RDS and this date and 20 whatever was it, but 5-6 years ago or something, was it? Was it?
It would have been alright. Was
that the last time it was here? Probably, was it?
20, yeah, around then. I can remember the night before just being about the place, and the cops were in searching for bombs.
Aye,
great spot.
Here we go. So this, folks, is Davey McLaughlin with Rays on Rebel Sundays, folks, here live today from the Derry City Sports and Social Club.
The fake DC.
The fake DC? There's only one DC. They're all arseholes. The Belfast one of me.
Rise up and see what we've achieved, standing on the shoulders of the ones who dared believe. Rise up and see how far we've come. that the laughter of our children mean our day has finally come. And cherish all the children, remember those we've lost, our sisters and our brothers who have paid the highest cost. But we must build a future to the glory of their name, when the island and its people know their freedom once again. I know we're strong, but we must be stronger for the road that we are on. Together we're stronger. Rise up and let them hear your voice. Let those who hold the chains know they no longer have a choice. We have known the darkness of that cold and lonely road, of those who stood against us as we made our way back home. And from its highest mountain, through the valleys to the sea, let the future of this island be Republican and free. Rise up, it's now we will be heard, and proudly we will stand among the nations of the world. Rise up, for the time is coming soon, and we must be together for the rising of the moon. I know we're strong, but we must be stronger for the road that we are on, for the road that we're on. Together we're stronger. Together we're stronger. Together we're stronger.
There we go. That is Davey McLaughlin there, folks. No, what there's the next Panger Band song coming on. That there's Rays. Yes, we'll have another. Well, I'm meant to play at 2 o'clock, folks. I say we might stay on a wee bit. There's no rush today, so maybe because obviously we want to play the Rule of Honor today because we are commemorating the Hunger Strikers weekend. So we'll get that there on once we're sort of finished with Barry stuff, and also a few people are asking for a song from Michael Collins. That is his anniversary tomorrow as well. So it is. A few were asking for a song from Emer. So we'll see what we can do before we finish up. So Lynn Houston says, yeah. So since you've cut off Facebook, could you please play a bit of the Irish Brigade song or Emer? I appreciate you playing Chris there later on there. Not a problem. Right. So obviously, the song we played on as part of Ronan's set earlier on was the Smuggler. We played the Glass Nevin version, but originally the song was written by Panger Band.
Yeah.
So Barry wanted to get a Panger Band song in,
yeah.
And obviously he said Ronan picked his song and he wanted to do. So we're going to do this one. So obviously Ronan talked about this here. So give us your sort of about why this here song means a bit to you, why you want to put it on your playlist.
So Panger Band. Excuse me, outside of Kelly's Men are probably the best band that come out of Derry, and I'm only saying that because Ronan and Rory's here. Panger Band, absolute legends of the Derry rebel scene, the Derry Republican scene. Obviously, Jerry.
So when did these finish up, Ronan? You're the encyclopedia, aren't you? There?
3 years in York.
The what?
Only York for 3 years.
They were only together for 3 years.
Yeah.
Serious?
One album, DHSS.
And
DHSS
they finished in '86. DHSS.
But the manager of Panger Band at one time was a fella called Dennis Martin. Denny, good friend of mine. He taught me an awful lot in terms of playing guitar and taught me a lot about music and stuff. And he's a big Derry City fan.
Right.
And he's brought me to a couple of games or I met up with him a couple of games and what have you. And the crack's always been good. I've been back at his house in his wee studio, and some of the songs he's wrote are absolutely amazing. But he told me about Panger Band, and he disclosed a couple of stories about, you know, the band itself and how the treatment they faced, and you know, and I've always thought Bangor Band are legends anyway, because of what they've done in terms of like George and Pop, Willie and Danny, the songs that they've sung, they produced, and Harry Kane, not a Spurs player.
So,
Harry Kane was.
He mentioned Harry Kane as well there. So
yes, Harry was a bass player with Bangor Band, and Harry had the tip of his finger missing. Right. But he was the best bass player I've ever seen.
And what was the one his strat hand that he played it with, like? And he still was able to get it.
Yes. He was able to get up and down the fretboard with ease. And
could he play Thunderstruck, but one finger missing?
I think he might give you that finger missing. You know, yeah, absolutely phenomenal musician, and all of them are phenomenal musicians. Obviously, Jerry Doogie Breslin's still going. And, you know, phenomenal band, absolutely phenomenal band. It's a pity that, you know, they did finish up in '86, but that's the way it goes, unfortunately. I remember Ronan was involved. There was a fundraiser for Shandolan's, was the GAA club up in Craigan, was burnt down, their clubhouse, and there was a fundraiser running Culderdan in Great James's Street, and there was a sort of Bangor Band reunion.
Okay.
And I had a shite video camera, really cheap shitty thing, and I videoed it, and I watched the videos back. I think they're gone.
Was the whole band like playing together?
More or less the whole band back together again, and it was the first time since '86. Like, and you know, it was absolutely phenomenal.
The band, I love the scene play, like.
Yeah.
Well,
Holy Grind was the song I wanted to pick.
Yeah.
Because I've only just learned some of the words and I've started playing it around the place. But the Smuggler, the first time I heard the Smuggler played was actually by Conor and Kieran. So the version live when we were over there, I was over for Kieran's 25th birthday, but
a few years ago.
That's another story for another day. That was the infamous Strathclyde Supergrass incident. Yeah, that was a fun one.
Sure was.
I heard Conor and Kieran play this, and it was absolutely outstanding, and even the original version is absolutely phenomenal. Great song.
So here we go. This is say we've been over a bit, folks. I'll say, but say we're going to go over at 2 o'clock, but anyway, not too fast today. We're no major hurry in here, and starting about 3 o'clock anyway. So we'll have a bit of scope to play in our couple of songs. So here we go. This is the next song choice from Barry's playlist, and this is Bangor Band with the Smuggler. So we already played this here on Ronan's set, but he picked the Glass Nevin version. But so Jerry Gleck always says nothing like the real thing.
Exactly.
When he says so. Here we go. It's the Smuggler from Bangor Band.
There's a full moon tonight and they're coming ashore with a cargo of finest French brandy, and their torches are lighting the path on the sand. They'll be gone by the first light of dawn. Not a voice can be heard as the loading is done. There's a breeze blowing in from the ocean, and the watch keeps his eyes on the winding coastal road for the excess men riding their way. Hurry now lads, there's work to be done. The Clipper is waiting to finish her run. There's no time to lose, for the tide's on the turn, and we've got to be gone by the morning. Down through the dunes he comes riding his horse. Soldiers are spread on the headland, melting like shadows the smugglers have gone, safe with their brandy in store. And the morning tide washes the tracks from the shore, and the excess man curses in anger. Then he turns on his horse, gives a shout of command, then he leads his men back to the town. Hurry now lads, there's work to be done. The Clipper is waiting to finish her run. There's no time to lose, for the tide's on the turn, and we've got to be gone by the morning. There's a full moon tonight and they're heading for France, for a cargo that's sure to bring plenty. And the Clipper is flying full sail in the wind. They'll be safe by the first light of day. Hurry now lads, there's work to be done. The Clipper is waiting to finish her run. There's no time to lose, for the tide's on the turn, and we've got to be gone by the morning. Hurry now, lads, there's work to be done. The Clipper is waiting to finish her run. There's no time to lose, for the tide's on the turn, and we've got to be gone by the morning.
There we go. That is a Panger band, folks, with the Smuggler, the original and the best one, I'd say. So this is Rebel Sundays, folks, on the Rebel podcast. Bit of a one-off show today. We're here live from Derry, from the Derry City Sports and Social Club, ahead of the big gig that's happening this afternoon, folks. So say if any of you are about Derry, you can still come up. They should be able to pay at the door. It's 10 or in. Barry is kicking things off. 4:30, is it you're on? Or 4? Oh, sorry. I'm either keeping the mic on or keeping the mic off. So you're up first, aren't you, today?
Yes, I'm on first, yeah.
And then Pierce will be on.
Straight after full time.
So obviously you were talking there about Derry City. Tell us a wee bit about your you've been doing a podcast.
I've been on podcast, yeah.
So what's that all about?
We're called Skint Hill, and Skint Hill is a reference to I think it goes as far back as the 1989 season when we were really, really successful. It's a place in the graveyard where you could have looked into the brandy well if you couldn't, you couldn't afford a ticket or there was none left, and it sort of fell away. But 2006 it came back again. Remember that European run we played PSG and whatever. I stood up in Skint Hill a few times, and it's just me and another lad literally chatting the biggest pile of shite about Derry City, about the latest games, the latest news.
So how's Derry doing this year? Like
at the minute, do you know what we're doing? We exceeded expectations. We won 6 in a row and ended up top of the league by, I think we were 6 or 7 points clear. We fell away big time. We're sitting third with 8 points. Our Shamrock Rovers are 8 points clear, and Dundalk's ahead of us by 4, I think. But no, we're doing well. Like that's how I met you, isn't it?
Yeah. No, well, it was like basically through obviously I knew you were involved in the band and stuff.
Yeah.
But obviously we were. I used to be involved with the RDC, Donegal Celtic a lot, whatever. So it was, say, before they sort of. That's just another story. We don't want to go into that. But it's a great club now, so it is, and thank you for the gigs that they've been giving me regularly. So you were up for a match, was it? Because you were playing the Friday night, so didn't you come up with the games on Saturday? Actually, because we used to play the drums and all, the games, so did Sugs and all stuff.
What had happened was 2006. Gary Beckett, who we've named a supporters club after, and I'm a member of. We actually operated it here. Gary Beckett's testimonial was 2 days after we played the cup final in 2006. We played DC, and there was a presentation up in the Oak Grove. There was money raised for the Fulton Fleming School, or Fleming Fulton, whatever way it is. And there was a presentation. We got a mirror off Suggs.
Aye, so that was a mad night. So it was, Jesus Christ. I remember we up the bus, even the bus before we got to the bloody game. Like, can't even remember the match. I remember just beating the drum for like 2 hours. Remember what the score was?
We returned the favour. I can't even remember myself. But we returned the favour, and I think you came to Shamrock Rovers down in Dublin on a bus with us, and Big Hugh Kern got a mercy on him. Didn't drink, but decided he was going to drink at that game. And like there's a 7 or 8 foot wall at Tolka Park down in Dublin, and he fell over it. Fucking monkeyed. But ever since then we went down to a couple of games at DC and you could
come up had the same song, DCFC.
That's exactly it. You stole it off us, for fuck's sake.
I know. Why? My man's listening to me.
Sorry, Kate.
God's sake. Right, so listen, we're going to do one more song here from Barry's. Let's say, folks, let's say we're on at 2 o'clock, but let's say we'll stay on for a while. So there's no major hurry. Get finished up today. We'll play 2 or 3 more songs. So obviously, some people were looking at the Rule of Honour, and we'll get that on. Obviously, because we're on YouTube as well now, we can get away with playing the Irish Brigade without fear of getting cut off Facebook, which is it's a shocking travesty as it is, but sure, what can you do? So this next song we're going to do from a band who is playing tonight, the main set. Callie's Menacey Rory's here now setting up, so he is. It's from the album recorded in the Crescent Bar, so it was. Which is
just hear the stories.
We told her that the gig near they had to close the bar and all because they're running out of drink and stuff, running out of glasses, running out of ice, running out of everything. So they did. I think it's because Marty took his top off and scared everybody off. So it was like
no further comment.
Aye. So let's hear a song here. Obviously, you talk about the hunger strikes and all that, whatever, and about internment. No Time for Love. Phenomenal song. Let's hear. So it is like say. My sort of memory is always first is hearing Cruncher singing this song. So it's like that was the first time I heard it. when I heard this here song. I think it was at the field years ago. One of the very first Spring Hill or something. So it was
back when it was in a small tent rather than the
not even a tent. It was literally just like a field in the middle of the Spring Hill, and it was 2 40-foot trailers put together. So it was, and Danny Devani actually done all the artwork and all for it, and that didn't look like a and he done the paint. It was brilliant. So it was like that was Spring Hill when it was the whole start, like before the official field. But that was the first time I heard this song. So we're going to play the Kelly's Men version. Say, you know how much I play this in the show, folks. This album I play it to death every week. There's different songs I'll play on it. So tell us a bit about this song, Barry. Why you want to put it on?
So I remember the original setup for Kelly's Men. Do you, Ronan? From the early beginnings in Shandolans. The early beginnings in Shandolans, seeing Kelly's Men, you know, it was a real treat because to me at that time there was no other Derry based rebel bands. You heard your Arrows, your Shebeens and so on, and Kelly's Men were the first to sort of pop up in my time since Panger Band that I knew of. Apart from Rory, I'm joking. Legend.
He's the only sample one in the wall space, like.
I've had the pleasure of sharing a stage with them a few times. If I wasn't playing before them, Mickey and Marty called me up on the stage to sing with them, and no further comment.
There's a lot of the Barry. No further comments. I hear a few of these here stories.
Listen, I spoke to my solicitor before I came on here, and I've been advised not to make a dick. Sorry, kid. But Kelly's Men, absolute legends. Love them all to pieces. Great band. And combining Kelly's Men with Christy Moore, who was the first person I heard singing the song, you know, absolutely amazing. And of course, live at the Crescent Bar, hearing more stories about that gig than ever before. I wasn't actually at it myself. I think I might have been working, but it just sounds like it was a great night.
Here, Rory, actually, what's the plans for this next album? Remember you recorded in Sandino's? What went scrapped then, or what's happening with it?
I can't comment on that one.
Jesus Christ, this is no comment here today. Nobody wants to talk about anything.
Listen, you're in Derry now, Ro. All right. We don't talk.
I've seen that last night actually a few times that people was very shifty about what they want to say to you or whatever. So maybe it's just a Derry thing for this. Right, here we go. Before I get myself into any trouble, this is
Gilmore's gone. All right, we'll leave it at that.
This is right, folks. This is the last of Barry's songs, and then we'll do a few of the ones that people have been asking for the day. So we're going to go a wee bit over 2 o'clock. So it's No Time for Love, folks, from Kelly's Men live at the Crescent Bar. This is Rebel Sundays on the Rebel podcast. Jesus. I need to play the rock shore.
6.
We call it interment, apartheid, partition, conscription, and silence. It's the law that they use to keep you and me when they make people belong. They hide behind steel with bulletproof glass, machine guns and spies. And to tell us who suffered the tear gas torture we've done wrong. Well, there's no time for love if they come in the morning. No time to show tears about fears in the morning. No time for goodbye, no time to ask why. When the sound of the siren is the cry of the morning. They suffered the torture, rotted in cells, they went crazy, wrote letters and died. And the limits of pain they endured, it was loneliness got them instead. And the court gives in to justice as given by well-mannered thugs. And sometimes they fought for the will to survive, and most times just to wish they were dead. In the sound of the siren is the cry of the morning. May came for young Francis Hughes and his cousin Thomas McElways well. Like they came for Patsy O'Hara, Tony Tanner and some of their friends. In Boston, Chicago, Saigon, San Diego, Palestine, Iraq, Afghanistan, Bogota, Derry, and Belfast. And those places they never made headlines, this never ends. Well, there's no time for love if they come in the morning, no time to sow tears of our fears in the morning, no time for goodbye, no time to ask why. In the sun of the siren is the cry of the morning. To your sisters and brothers, the world defy your tongue. For the sea you get used to the war, and that doesn't mean that there's no tongue. For the fish need the sea to survive, like your people need you. And those death squads can only get to them. First you can't get through to me. Well, there's no time for love if they come in the morning, no time to sow tears of our fears in the morning, no time for goodbye, no time to ask why. And the sun of the siren, sun of the siren, sun of the siren is the cry of the morning.
Yeah, fantastic here, folks. There's No Time for Love there from Kelly's Man. Another guy who does a brilliant version of that is Jerry Oak. Anytime I've seen him in the Rock, he does a phenomenal version of that song. So he does. Another guy that I've been trying to get on the podcast that he's very shy. But at the Rock Bar on a Sunday night when he's 20 bottles of Smuggler's in him, he's not shy at all. So he doesn't like. But you're making him on one of these days, so mate. Yeah, don't forget again next week, folks. We'll have Paddy Mangan and Fran O'Mara on. For the latest rebel band on the scene here, the Owl Brigade. I say that the two lads have been on the scene for a very, very long time. Obviously playing with the Druids and stuff separately, and then doing their own separate stuff now. But yeah, they're on the road now, so we're going to have both of them on the show next week. So Barry, before we go, mate, thanks very much for coming on, and cheers to Ronan as well. So you're opening things up, and you're going to be playing in George's as well tonight then?
Yeah,
earlier
on. George's around 6:30, 7 o'clock, or whatever time I get finished up here.
But Anthony be going, don't mention them all here.
Don't mention the word, But yes, I'll be opening up the show at 4:30, I believe, straight after the game. So if you just want to come up and sing songs about the Crown and the Queen and glorifying the IRA, I'm here, you know what I mean?
We're definitely not playing new up there earlier on, anyway, because Steve No might be listening to maybe.
Fair play to him, fat cunt.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Right, so say a few years asked folks to say today, again, the parade's probably actually just kicking off now, about 10 minutes ago. We're going by Sinn Féin time, it'll be starting in about an hour 20 minutes. So it is. Another hour. That never goes. I've gone by the Easter parade anyway, it's meant to start at 1:30 every year. It's usually about 2 o'clock before it kicks off. Yeah, so folks, the Hunger Strike Parade's happening in Belfast today, first time in 3 years because of COVID. It's going from Dunville Park up to the Republican Platte at Milltown Cemetery. So good luck to all the bands and all who's taking part today and everybody who's travelling over. I was talking to a couple of lads in Cope Bridge this morning there when I was walking up. I seen they were waiting on the bus there, so I think they're heading up the march with the band today. So Ian, Barry, thanks mate, and good to see you again. So we're going to do this one. This is the Irish Brigade folks, Roll of Honour, from one of their albums, live in Dublin, I think it is. So we'll do the intro anyway with Jerry talking, and then we'll play the song. So this is the 41st anniversary of the Hunger Strikes folks this weekend.
Read the Roll of Honour for Ireland's bravest
must be united in memory of the 10. England, you're a monster. Don't think that you have won. We will never be defeated while Ireland has such sons. In those dreary H-block cages, 10 brave young Irishmen lay, hungering for justice while their young lives ebbed away. For their rights as Irish soldiers and to free their native land, they stood beside their leader, the gallant Bobby Sands. Now they mourn Hughes in Balahi, Ray McCreesh in Armagh Hills. In those narrow streets of Derry, they miss O'Hara still. They so proudly gave their young lives to break Britannia's hold. Their names shall be remembered as history unfolds. So read the roll of honour for Ireland's bravest men. We must be united in memory of the 10. England, you're a monster. Don't think that you have won. We will never be defeated while Ireland has such sons. Through the war-torn streets of Ulster, the black flags did sadly wave to salute 10 Irish martyrs, the bravest of the brave. Joe McDonnell, Martin Hurson, Kevin Lynch, Kieran Doherty. They gave their lives for freedom with Thomas McElwee. Michael Devine from Derry, you were the last to die. With your 9 brave companions, with the martyred dead you lie. Your souls cry out, remember, our deaths were not in vain. Fight on and make our homeland a nation once again. So read the roll of honour for Ireland's bravest men. We must be united in memory of the 10. England, you're a monster. Don't think that you have won. We will never be defeated while Ireland has such sons. No, we'll never be defeated while Ireland has such sons.
Yeah, so the rule of honour there, folks, from the Irish. I thought it was the live one, but it wasn't. There you go. It's but that was for, say, everybody who asked for it today. We're commemorating the 41st anniversary of the hunger strikes, folks. The parade taking place in Belfast today, the main National Graves Association one. Listen, obviously, yes, as well. Yesterday was the anniversary of Mickey Nevin on his anniversary, folks. We're cheers to Conor McLaughlin and the IRSP ones. He had me in yesterday for a gig, folks. So thank you very much to them for bringing us down this weekend. That's much appreciated. So, folks, we'll do 2 more songs for you before we head off. Say we're meant to finish 2 o'clock. I've got a few things here before we start off this afternoon. Just want to see the match. So thanks to you all for tuning in, folks. Much appreciated. Again, Joseph McGowan, thanks very much for calling down, mate. Much appreciated for coming in, grabbing us a pint in as well, mate. You're a legend. So, folks, we're going to be back normal next Sunday, back in the studio on the 28th. Next week's guests, we're going to have Paddy Mangan and Fran O'Mara on the show for us, and we'll be back in the studio, back in the hot seat, and sort of back, instead of all this here running around and sort of doing stuff from outdoors and stuck in wee corners. But that's me in the house next week, into the studio, after my little knuckle rapping she gave me there on. So here we go. We're going to do this here tune here, folks, to say a song we always finish off with the show. Jackie Duddy. And it's probably no better time to finishing off the day. Obviously, we're in Derry this weekend, folks, today. So, obviously, another sort of song all about the Bloody Sunday. Phenomenal song. We usually do play us here at the end of the show every week, so no exception today. So here we go. This is Dougie Breslin, folks, with Jackie Duddy. A song simply known as Jackie. This is Rebel Sunday, folks. Thank you very much from myself, Ro, and Ronan, and Barry as well, who are my special guest, sort of host / guest today. Folks, I'll see us all back again next week, back in the studio. So if any's are in Derry today, call in here to the Derry City Sports and Social Club. Massive big Rebel Sunday happening today with Kelly's men, Glass Nevin, Ricky Nixon, with Kev Quigley. There we go. There I got it wrong again. Barry Davey, who's kicking things off, plus Pierce Whitehouse, who's coming all the way from Tyrone for this afternoon. So it's going to be a great gig. If anybody's got tickets yet, you can probably pay in. It's a 10 at the door, folks. Hopefully see a few of you there. Here we go. See you all next week. Thank you very much, folks. Oh, it's on mute here. See, I play this here song from YouTube, so I had YouTube on mute. So it is, because it's not a Spotify song, is it? There you go. I didn't know it was on Spotify. There you go. See, you're just a fountain of knowledge, Ronan. See, I'd say if I didn't know it, I would have been playing this off YouTube every week. So there you go. This is Jackie, folks. The last tune of the day. Thank you very much.
Jackie, I remember your face from a far distant place. Boy, why did they destroy your future road to you? You came from a home of 9 sisters and 5 brothers. Up in the Craigan, you were my cousin. You worked with me brother Dustin, named after me father, down in springtime, tending looms. Jackie, you were just 17 when they shattered your dreams, and we never got over it. Jackie, you'd have found a good wife, had a wonderful life, and raised your weans well. In 68, your mother Maureen, she died, and with Willie, your father, we cried. She was so very young. Her sister Dolly said if Maureen had survived, she'd have been in the coffin by your side. Your mother couldn't have coped. Jackie, you were good in the ring, 'cause that was your thing. You would have been a champion. Jackie, your nephew John did you proud. He's recognized by the crowd as fulfilling your ambitions. Your face is painted in murals down in the bog, and I pray to God that you'll not be forgotten. That day in 72, it's etched on our minds, the day that innocents died. They called it Bloody Sunday. Jackie, there were 13 others as well, more unfinished stories to tell. Jackie, 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 our Jackie, Jackie Duddy. On a summer's day in Derry in 2010, thousands gathered again, and the world had gone. The British government said sorry and admitted they're wrong. The clapping went on and on, the cheering went on and on. Jackie, your innocence was declared. Your family's voices were heard after 38 years. Jackie, now you can rest in peace. The false accusations have ceased. The truth has been set free. Connie Doherty, Gerald Donaghy, Hugh Gilmore and Michael Kelly, Michael McDade, Kevin Michael Henney, Bernard McGuigan and Gerald McKinney, William McKinney, William Nash, James Ray, John Johnston, John Young and Jackie Duddy.
That's us, folks. Thank you very much again for tuning in today. Been a great show. Cheers to Anthony and all the staff here at the Derry City Sports and Social Club for having us up again once again. Much appreciated, mate. Rocker, you saying, who is this? This is you talking about the song? It's a song called Jackie from Dougie Breslin, so it is. Big Johan, the Swedish provost, just jumped on. He's probably running out of bed, is he? But he's just saying he's finally booked for Bundoran. Happy days, mate. I'll see you when we get there. James Devin McLeod as well. No, great show. Thank you very much, mate. Folks, thank you as all who have tuned in today and watched the show. Hopefully, throughout the afternoon, if we can get good Wi-Fi, I will be sort of putting a few streams up whenever the bands are on. We'll maybe put a few songs on from each singer throughout the afternoon, and we'll put it across on Facebook and YouTube. So, right, apart from Barry, because he doesn't want to stay, he's going to bugger off soon as he's finished. Right, folks, I'll see you all again. Thank you very much. Cheers.